In this video, I'm going to tell you the truth why you cannot hit your forehand consistently like Carlos Alcaraz. This video is dedicated to 3-5, 4-0 players who have really nice technique, who have been told over and over again by coaches, maybe even some online instructors, that your technique is really, really nice. And you're actually tired of hearing it because you're losing matches. You're losing matches at 3.5 and 4.0, and you keep taking lessons, and your coach keeps working with you on developing that big forehand, that big serve, and thinking that, my forehand just gets a little better, a little bigger, that I'm going to be able to blow my competition out of the water. And I'm not here to tell you not to watch these videos on how to hit a forehand like Federer, how to hit a forehand like Carlos Alcaraz, Nadal, Djokovic, because that absolutely will help your game. But what I'm here to talk about is why, even though you look at your strokes, you're like, I think my strokes are pretty good, and everybody keeps telling me my strokes are pretty good, how am I losing to somebody who has zero technique? What is wrong with me? And so that's what this video is going to talk about. And you're not crazy. Your strokes are nice. You have a lot of tennis skills. I got this. What inspired this video today is I got a text from one of my online students who he's sending videos. I've watched him play in person. He's a 3-5 player on his serve and his forehand. To me, many shots look like a 5-0 stroke, like beautiful, nothing wrong with it. He goes, what lessons on the site would you suggest I work with about getting the ball in? And I'm serious. I have a ball machine, so I can be fed balls. And this player has said that he's lost a number of matches to people, and he's even thought about sometimes quitting. So where am I going with this? What I want you to think about is when Carlos Alcaraz hits his forehand, when Nadal hits his forehand, what's it built on? What makes the forehand safe? It's the spin. What does spin reward? Acceleration, swinging fast. What does that require? Great timing. You see, the pros have great timing and a consistent swing path and the ability to see different balls come and make subtle adjustments in their swing path without compromising the important part of their form, which is accelerating up on the ball and creating a brush, creating the spin without having what I call a tweak. The racket face opening slightly, the racket face is being a little bit off. And this is something that, unless you have so many hours to dedicate, that you will not be able to replicate. And so to try and copy this and think that you're going to be able to consistently swing like this in your matches and be successful is a very tall order. That's why, unless someone is a solid rated 4-5 or 5-0 player, and someone hands me a $100 bill, or I take my own $100 bill out, and I'm asked, who are you going to bet on? This person who has this technique or a person who has this technique, but they're rated 3-5 or 4-0. Pete, who are you going to put your money on? I'm going to put my money on the person who has this technique, okay? Not to hurt anybody's feelings. Why? Because their job is so much easier than the person who has this technique and is trying all day to brush up and accelerate. And when the ball keeps coming back and you have to keep having this perfect timing to beat that player, your assignment almost becomes impossible, because tennis is the closest thing I can think of to golf when it comes to technique. And you think about racket head speed or club head speed. Because if you're the slightest bit off, you're way off. Think about it. I'll even take myself as an example. I am a pretty decent athlete, especially when it comes to hand-eye coordination. So I can go to the golf course and I can tee off and I can hit a beautiful shot straight, 200 plus yard drive. Beautiful. And then I can go and I can swing the very next ball and I can flub it way off into the woods. I've done this so many times because I don't play enough golf to automate that stroke. And when I hit it, even though I have so much coaching under my belt in tennis, when I hit it off into the woods, I couldn't tell you where I hit it on the club head. I couldn't automatically correct that mistake and let you know, well, why did that one suck and that other one was perfect? Why did that happen? I don't know. I really don't know. I couldn't tell you. And tennis is very much like that. When you are building your stroke on acceleration and one goes in, then the next one goes out by that much, it's very hard for you to be able to know, well, what exactly went wrong? There's just a slight little tweak in there, the tiniest little thing that a professional is not going to do as often as you're going to do. Where if you put me on a putting green, again, I'm not a golfer. I don't play golf all day, every day. I might miss putts, but if I went to play putt-putt golf, I'm not going to be wild and be swinging my ball into the next person's little putt-putt golf hole. It's going to stay on the green. I might miss putts by that much. And so think about it. You're out there trying to play your entire match because you don't want to become a pusher. So you're trying to play your entire match with a driver because you're trying to hit every shot like Roger Federer, like Rafael, the fast ones. You're not interested in hitting the ball slow. You're trying to hit the fast balls like them all day. You're watching video after video of Carlos Alcaraz hitting forehands, hitting backhands, hitting serves. And your opponent is playing with a putter, right? They're just do. So when they're a little off with their racket face, they're just a little off. The ball's still in play most of the time. And they give you 3, 4, 5 balls, and you've got to basically hit that ball down the driving range 4, 5, 6, sometimes 10 times in a row. That's very, very difficult to do. And that's how and why so many players who have a lot of great tennis skills lose to players who seemingly have less skill than them. And so what's the answer? Is the answer to become a pusher just like them? That's not what I'm telling you to do. But it's to learn how to do a mixture of what I call a push stroke versus a swing stroke. Unfortunately, no, you're not going to be able to go out there 2 out of 3 sets, even though you'd love to, and blow somebody off the court with your skill, with your great big serves and your big forehand, your big backhand. It's not going to happen. If you could do that, you would be a 4 or 5 plus player. You do have some 4 or 5 plus skills. You do. But you don't have the time that maybe a 4 or 5 player has dedicated earlier in their life when they became maybe like an excellent junior, or certainly that the pros do. I mean, think about it. The pros, they play tennis since they were a little kid all day, every day. And as pros, they're still playing all day, every day. So to be able to hit the shot like that with just no questions asked, just bam, do it time after time, your timing has to be incredible. It has to be impeccable. And you just don't have that time to dedicate that the pros do. And so when you become a little off, when you lose a little bit of confidence in your stroke starts to fall apart. And your opponent, their stroke is not going to fall apart because, again, they're playing with a putter. You're trying to play your entire match with a driving range. So what I'm asking you to do is to play some of your match with a putter and some of your match with, a driver. And then you will be able to start to beat these players. You have to your job is figure out the formula, the magic formula. Do I Am I driving? You have to figure out where you are in your game, how much you're missing. Maybe you can still use your driver, 60% of the time, and your putter 40% of the time. Or maybe it's 50-50, or maybe you should be putting more than you should be driving. And so you're putting the ball around the court, and then you're using that to set up your driver to hit the passing shot. If you start to accept that this needs to be part of your strategy, you can beat players very, very easily that you're losing to. Very easily that you're losing to. So I want you to think about this video. And you also have to understand that a push shot, when we think about pushers and pushing the ball, we think ugly, no technique. But a push shot does not have to be ugly. In fact, I encourage you to make it beautiful, to learn how to really develop the style, because a push stroke, to me, it's a really nice volley. It's a great lob. When Carlos Alcaraz chooses to hit that drop shot that he uses so much, he's not hitting the ball anymore. He's not swinging anymore, is he? What's he doing? He's pushing the ball over the net. So the more you learn, you're not dedicating enough time on learning how to develop your pushing skills and everything you can do. You can hit a push ball pretty hard and fast and deep. You can also drop shot it. You can also lob it. But no, what's happening is you're going out there going, no, I'm going to use my driver all day because, man, I've been working on this and it's looking pretty good. And my coach tells me I look pretty good. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. So think about this video, because I know there's not a lot of people online talking about this, accepting the fact that, no, if you're rated 3.5 or 4.0, you're not just going to be able to blow somebody who's a pusher off the court for 2 out of 3 sets. But you can start to dominate these matches when you learn how to figure out the right formula of pushing versus hitting, and knowing your game and understanding what percent you could be hitting your ball and what percent you should be pushing the ball. And pushing the ball does not make you, quote unquote, a pusher. You're not surrendering and playing their game. What you're doing is you're allowing yourself to have now 20 doors to walk through, because you're probably good at, if you have good forehand technique and good backhand technique, there's a good chance that you're going to develop good pushing style too. So now you're going to have so many more options than your opponent, than going into the match thinking, I've only got this one option. I either hit them off the court, or this match becomes World War III and I'm living a nightmare. Even when I win, there's a chance I'm going to lose, which happens a lot. But even if I win, I feel like garbage. I'm trying to teach you how to not feel like garbage, how to enjoy, embrace, and figure out what is that magic formula for you. And once you learn how to figure out that magic formula, you'll probably move up a level in your rating. If you're a 3.5, you'll probably quickly become a 4.0. If you're a 4.0, you'll probably quickly become a 4.5. So hopefully this made sense. If it did, if you have questions, ask questions below. I'm telling you, this is the truth. This is the way it works. I've been playing since I've been 8 or 9 years old. I've been a state champion. I've been nationally ranked in the top 100. I've been a Division I college tennis player. I played #1 for my college. I've been MVP on that team. And I've done my fair share of tweening myself. So I know exactly what it feels like physically when you start to lose control over the ball. And I just, even more than that, I've watched countless hours of my favorite students. My favorite students are 3.5 to 4.0 adults. And I've watched you in clinic. I've watched you in private lessons. I've watched your matches. And I know that this is what happens to you, especially the ones who work hard at their technique. This is why you're losing to players that you think you should be beating. Let me know what you think. Comment below, and hopefully this video helps somebody out there.